Yeah. Oh, wow. We're going to have a great show tonight. We're going to have famous cartoonists saying things. Oh, the famous guy who hangs out with him and does and draws and does things, saying things too.
Do
And then splash page people asking things. Let's get the show started. Woo!
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion.
Is the one obvious thing.
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Everybody, help. I can't breathe in here. I can't. Okay, we're just gonna, I got Leo in a box. I heard him through this one. Hey, everybody. It's Tuesday night. Welcome to Splash Pages. We've got an excellent show lined up for you tonight. Leo is unfortunately not with us right now. So we're going to have to make do with a special guest, Mr. Justin Cooper.
Hey, as Leo would say. It's like the Leo unboxing video that you never knew you wanted.
Indeed.
Exactly. How's it going tonight, Justin?
It's going amazing.
All right. Let's move over and see how Drew's doing.
Hey, everybody. Yeah. It's Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. We have not one, but two great creators with us. Both of these men I've met and got to know a bit over the years. They're fantastic conversationalists, and their humor is dynamite. They have a new collaboration coming out at the end of this month. We're going to be talking about their award-winning collaboration on the Tiny Titans, among other things. Everybody, the other dynamic duo you definitely know, the well-dressed, the funny, the bearded, Art and Franco, everyone.
The bearded.
Hello, everybody.
Depends on what time of year, yeah.
Yeah, man.
This is the deadline beard happening right now.
There
This is New York Comic Con. I'm not going to shave it till C2E2. Maybe. Probably keep it. We'll see it get real big like Chewbacca.
Oh, boy. You know, just remember, if you're looking in the mirror and you still see Alan Moore, you're good enough.
Oh,
You know?
he looks in the mirror and sees me, I think.
Oh, boy, that's a lot. You know,
Yeah.
and
That's
speaking of,
a
just
scary
turned
proposition.
70 recently.
Yeah. If he's
So,
lucky, he'll get to meet me one day. I know he's waiting.
oh
Well,
man,
then, yeah, he wouldn't hate his own work if he saw you. So
That's right.
he'd be
honest.
like, "Oh, this is great.
Well,
I
thank you
love
both.
this Swamp Thing."
Oh, thank you both for joining us again, guys. Nice to see you. You guys have been pretty busy, you know, separately, and you know, you're collaborating on uh, Flash Gordon, so you're giving it the little treatment. So how did that come up?
we we found out that Mad Cave got the Flash Gordon license the
Mhm.
same time everyone else did, pretty much. And I thought, like, man, that would be cool. And then once they announced it, uh, my editor reached out to me. I think that's how it went. And then he said, "I'll talk to you at Terrificon." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then we went to Terrificon. He goes, "I know you want to do it." And then Franco was there too. And he goes, "You guys want to work together?" And that's exactly how it went. It was like guys hanging out, having a conversation, and we ended up working on the book.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think they called us up and asked us about it, and they said, "Oh, we'll be at Terrificon, and we'll
Yeah.
talk to you there." And we're like, "Great!" So when we showed up at Terrificon, they're like, "Hey, do you want to work on this?" And then by the end of Terrificon, they're like, "Good, deal's been set." So
Yeah. Yeah.
it
We
moved,
got
it moved
approved
pretty
right
fast.
away.
Wow, that's
And I don't
fantastic.
think we told each other about it either. It was just we showed up and uh, our editor just put us together and just talked to us at the same time. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I thought in the beginning I thought they wanted an adventure series more like uh adult, like um all ages but superhero type like how we did Superman Family. But
okay.
then they said no, we want Tiny Titans. The Tiny Titan style. Like, "Oh, we know how to do that." And
yeah,
I
we've
was
done
able to
that.
we were able to slip into it real easy. It like once you click the Tiny Titans button, you switch that button, it gets
Mhm.
real easy to make things. Like uh we must have wrote the whole thing in like 1 or 2 days, maybe even less, probably 1 or 2
Wow.
sittings, I would think.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was just so funny. Like we just started uh, saying what we knew about Flash Gordon, and I
Mhm.
even watched. I even watched all the serials. I watched. There's three groups. There's three seasons of serials. I don't know if they call them seasons, but there's
Mhm.
um, and I watched all three, and then we watched the movie, of course, but I really love the serials, and that's kind of like a lot of the humor and the character designs and stuff are based off the serials and the cartoon. We both love the cartoon, so
Right.
that's where yeah we grew up with this stuff, man. It was pre Star Wars.
I,
Any
I
chance we see the Defenders of the Earth show up?
oh god.
I never saw it. I don't know what that is. I know the characters because I saw the toys, but I never saw the show.
Oh god.
Yeah,
I know.
I love the cartoon and I watched it, but they were very specific about wanting just Flash Gordon for this.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They had Defenders of Earth. They were doing another comic. I think Dan DiDio. Yeah, Dan DiDio's writing it. And
Oh no.
the first few books came out already. I know I saw them at the shop.
Oh
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, they look cool. Hmm.
Uh, because it's funny because I had no art. I had no idea there were serials. Like the only
Yeah,
Flash Gordon I know of is having seen the movie when I was younger. And it was so funny because I'm watching. I was like, "This is great." And I was like, "Boy, you just later on in life, I was like, you got to really admire Queen. They just
yeah,
wrote songs, and they made an entire soundtrack out of just one beat
boom,
and
boom, boom, boom,
one
boom, boom,
song.
boom,
It's
boom.
repeated 7 times,
Yeah,
and I'm like, you know what? It was the '80s. Good for them. Like,
yeah,
well done. But literally, I was like, man, I feel like I can play bass now. Just dun 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 dun. Flash.
yeah,
Ha ha. I'm
yeah.
just
To
like,
me, it didn't stick with me because Star Wars came first for me. Like Flash Gordon, the black and white ones were way before Star Wars when I was a little kid, and then I watched Star Wars, and everything that came after that wasn't Star Wars, so it didn't stick. I
right.
needed that, and but my wife is a huge Flash Gordon movie fan, so
Okay.
I saw it several times since I've been married 20 something years, and I
Mhm.
watched it like at least once a year with her. I bought her the DVD, so we put it on, and so I learned to like it a lot more as the older I get. And it's just goofy and corny and bright colors, and it's cool. And the Hawkman,
Brian
Baltan,
Blessed. Yeah.
Baltan, yeah, he just screams a lot. I love characters when they yell and scream and they're outrageous. So I learned to like it now, but it didn't stick when I was a kid because
Right.
it's like, it was, and it didn't look like serials. Like Flash Gordon was different. Like
Right.
he needed the short hair to me, and he needed sleeves. I don't know, but he was, but I like it now. But,
Okay.
yeah.
I've only seen it once. It was my friend James, who's on a different show with me, Uncle Necro. He every year has a birthday lament in December where he gets a big screen TV in the back of this pub, and he used to get a projector and stuff, but they got the big screen TV, and he'll pick out 3 terrible movies, and then we randomly choose one and watch them. And it was Flash Gordon, and I fell asleep.
Oh,
Like sitting in this pub drinking and just watching Flash Gordon. It was just like, and Carrie's out. Okay.
yeah, you can't start
So-
drinking before, you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Carrie, everybody has one movie they fell asleep during. And me, the first time I saw Street Fighter, I fell asleep. So, you
Not
know,
gonna like my answer, Drew.
Justin,
Yeah.
it's okay, buddy.
You know what's weird is that the older you get, the more movies you fall asleep in.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is true.
That's
Like,
kind of where I was going with it. Why do they have recliners now at the movie theaters? You know,
right.
like
Yeah,
dad
that's a
recliner.
horrible idea for older people.
I agree.
There's a movie that I'm not going to mention what it is, but I've tried to watch it 7 different times and I've fallen asleep every single time. So I refuse to watch that movie now.
I have a similar movie, and it's a newer one, and you're not gonna like it, Drew.
Buddy, I don't judge you. It's just that sometimes your choices are wrong. So that's just how we go about it, you know?
I'm just saying, man. It's the new Hellboy and the Crooked Man. I fell asleep 7 times watching that damn movie. I yet to
In
watch
one
it all the way
time?
through.
During one movie?
I've tried. I've
7
tried
viewings.
numerous times to watch it.
Oh, I see.
Numerous times. So
I've never seen The Fifth Element all the way through.
wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So that one's a bit more exciting for me.
Doesn't
I think.
stick.
I had a friend who had such a big deal about The Fifth Element that when I finally saw it at the Alamo, he had to post about it. He was like, I finally got him in the theater to see The Fifth Element. He loved it as he would. And I was like, I'm sorry. It just never ever came up a conversation. You know, I'm moving it. Hey, let's watch The Fifth Element. That was never, a conversation that ever came up for these movies. So it's just one of those. So I agree with you. Sometimes it just takes you a while to get there, but you're like, this is good. This is quality.
I might watch it tonight, you know.
I mean, what was it? It was the same way. I just finally watched all of Grease for the first time. And
The Police?
No, Grease.
Grease. Oh, yeah, Olivia.
Yeah, and I'm just watching it. I was watching it with a friend. And this entire time, she just said it was more funny, my reactions, because I'm like, what is going on? Like, this entire time, I'm like, what? And she just was just laughing at me the whole time. And I was like, I can't help it. I've loved movies that every time I'm watching a movie, I instinctively Mystery Science Theater 3000 it, especially if it's questionable. I'm like, why are we making these decisions? Why is the car flying? Is it because of the end of the movie? I don't get it.
Because they died in the beginning.
Yeah,
They're
all
drowned.
drunk and high the whole time, and then they die.
Yeah, they drowned in the beginning.
I know. I know. I got the theory. I was like,
it's a family movie. It's great.
Oh yeah, exactly. I was like, poor Eugene.
It tells all young girls you must change to get your man.
Yep.
He doesn't want you
And
nice,
have
he wants
sex.
you nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Wants you nasty.
It's okay. I just like to think the real winner of the movie is Eugene. He got made fun of a lot, but I'm like, that man is probably a billionaire right now.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I'm friends with him on Facebook. So,
but so back to Flash Gordon. Was there anything you guys couldn't like? That from Flash Gordon you wanted to have in there that you just it didn't fit. It ended up on like the cutting floor. If there's like a Flash Gordon extended cut, you would be like, it's right there.
We got a few gags maybe that didn't make it in just because we ran out of space.
Okay.
We do a lot of self-editing, so there's a lot of pages that we wound up not using.
Yeah, there's much more gags than we could use. That happens with everything. That's what everything, though. And we both try to hold on to him and bring him back again, in something else. But with Flash Gordon, there was nothing we couldn't do, but we did too much that couldn't all fit in the book.
That's really good then.
Yeah, it's really funny, man. I just reread it because we're preparing for the next one, and I had to reread some of it because I'm juggling all these different projects, and once I finish a project, it kind of leaves my head, like, and I concentrate on these new characters for the new project. So I had to go back and read a lot. Man, it was really funny. It was really good, and I didn't remember it. Like, when you go back and read it with fresh eyes or fresh brain, it was cool. I think
Thanks,
people are
man.
gonna
You're
really
welcome.
dig it. Yeah,
Yeah.
those writers are good. Yeah.
Yeah, both of you, we kind of have me and Carrie have this running joke that we think that you two are like somehow part cyborg because you're doing so much all the time. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, how do they sleep?
It's
Like,
hard, man. Like,
Yeah, we don't.
no, I'm back. I was vampiring for a little while, and I don't know what happened, but the last 3 days I've been waking up at 4:30 in the morning and just working. And by 2 o'clock today, I was dying. I had to sleep today because I knew, like, damn, that interview's not till 7 o'clock. So I slept for 2 hours, and I'm fresh right now. But I squeeze more days out of the week that way. When I go to bed when I'm tired and wake up when I'm done sleeping, eat when I'm hungry, stuff like that. There's no time schedule.
well, I mean, that's the same way I felt like with Franco when you were teaching. I was like, how do you teach?
Yeah.
And you're doing all these books, you're going to cons. I was like, and you're a husband and a dad. I'm like, they're not human. I'm telling you, there's
Yeah.
no way. Like the same thing, like Art was like, oh, I'm doing all these projects, and then also with a husband, the kids in school, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
I'm
Well,
like,
it's just I love this stuff, and
Mhm.
the no sleep. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll have you know my phone or a writing pad because I'll wake up with ideas and I'll write them down and stuff like that. But it's just all about juggling and priorities, and I love comics, so I'm constantly thinking, writing, putting stuff down on paper. So there's a way to get stuff done by just being in the moment with it.
Yeah, it's every day, every waking moment. I don't have anything I'm not thinking about besides, like, when's the next Star Wars show. That's about it. Like, I don't know.
December 3rd, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
the Skeleton Crew. Yeah, but I don't know if I say skeleton. I always pronounce things a little off. Skeleton Crew, because I have
that's
a
all.
friend.
It's a
Yeah.
Star Wars show about Red Skeleton, so
Yeah,
you're
it's
good.
Red
Yeah.
Skeleton. Yeah, it's his son or something. But that's what I do, and I rewatch a lot of stuff, so I don't really watch a lot of new shows. I keep watching the same old shows, so when I draw, I could just breeze through my pages and just listen to Ahsoka like the fourth time through already,
Right.
and so I just watch stuff, but I listen to it, and so I don't know how we do this stuff either. And a lot of times we show up at a convention, we see each other at conventions, and it's even lately we don't talk as much. We're both doing our own, real life stuff's happening. But when we catch up at a show, that's when we say, "Oh, what you been working on?" And then we don't know half the stuff, and we're
Right.
like giving each other exclusive interview. Like, "Whoa, that's cool. What do you got?" And so Franco brings his iPad, shows me stuff, and I bring my sketchbook and show him stuff, and it's different. It's I don't know how we do it either, but
Yep.
we don't see each other as only till shows, but we don't miss each other. It's like we're always talking too, always texting. Texting is the biggest thing now because we'll just text photos all night long, and he'll see all my photos in the morning, and then he'll tell me stop sending me these things, and then stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there is a few times I check out of the group conversation, but yeah.
yeah, like
Mute.
no one's gonna know about this.
Especially if I wake up in the morning and there's like 38 new messages, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out of this conversation.
Yeah, and I always wonder how come nobody liked that post. I know they all seen it.
Yep. Yeah, no, I understand that, because sometimes I'll just like call and message people or everything, and people are like, what are you okay? Why were you calling it like
I was going to say,
midnight?
what
Like,
kind of
what?
psychopath are you? You're calling people? What's wrong
Yeah.
with you?
Oh yeah,
He calls me every day.
Really?
Like it's
That's
Just
cool.
send a text,
yeah.
dude. People can read. Yeah.
No, because it doesn't wake me up. I'll be like, he's like, okay, so I'm driving. You're just gonna talk to me the whole time I'm on drive. I'm like, yeah, I'm sleeping. And sometimes if I start snoring, he'll let me go back to bed. But otherwise, he'll wake me up and I'll sit and talk with him for like an hour and then hang up. And then later on, when I actually really wake up, because I don't wake up until the afternoon, I vampire it. So,
Yeah,
but I
that's
still
the
get like
girl. Mhm.
10 hours in though. And they put me on steroids and I got 15 hours of sleep the first
Really?
time. Got a
oh yeah,
sinus thing going on. Yeah. So it's like, oh, you're gonna wake up. I'm like,
Well,
yeah,
you're
sure.
tired. You're on
But
steroids and you weightlifting.
yeah,
You sleep now.
Hey, get all
yeah,
jacked. You could be a jacked vampire.
no, yeah, but
Arr!
yeah, yeah. Art Franco, I
But
sometimes feel like her friend. I feel more like her Renfield. Like, just
Mm.
wake her up, like, Master, awake, and she's just like,
Mhm.
go
okay,
take
hold
your
on,
meds.
She
That's
exactly,
what
feeds
you
you
need.
bugs,
I can see
occasionally.
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we all need one of those guys, one of those
yeah,
Renfields.
but oh God, it's so crazy. It's just crazy.
I like the way Art just said, yeah, everyone needs one of those redheads. I like that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
The those red skeletons.
Hey,
Uh,
Mhm.
but
Skeletons.
skeletons. So speaking of tiny titans,
Yeah.
um, I just need to say
Lord.
I've read some of it, and then I reread all of it within the last 3 to 4 days. So
Oh
Oh,
boy.
cool.
that's yeah, it was a lot of oh yes. Um, I, I,
If you're going to start asking me questions about it, I'm not going to remember any of it. But go ahead.
I
I,
know it all. I remember.
I'm going to do my best, Franco. How did one of the issues? How did Jeff Johns join you for that one issue? Because I was just like
Oh
reading.
yeah.
Jeff Johns is on there, and of course, it has to do. Um, at that time, he was still with DC doing like Blackest Night, which you guys did reference, which
Mhm.
I loved. Blackest Night, all the Tiny Titans ended up with like the emotional core lantern rings, and
Mhm.
Stargirl showed up, and then even Jeff had his own little shop trading things for like gum.
Yeah,
Uh,
he had a pawn shop. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
did he? How did that come up? Did he reach out to you? Or did that
Oh,
just like you were all at a show and you're just like, hey, do you want to do this book list? And you're like,
yeah. I remember exactly because when we started Tiny Titans, we had Superboy on the cover of #1. We had to
Mhm,
take him off, and we couldn't use Superboy, and we had to wait. We had to wait for the legal and the business stuff, whatever. And once we got permission, uh, he was on the cover of #25 of issue 25. And
mhm,
around that time, we started. Yeah, we became friends with Jeff. We just worked with him. I worked with him.
mhm,
I think I don't know, just a few things. And so we said, wouldn't it be cool to have the Return of Superboy and then co-written by Jeff Johns? And then
Yeah.
uh, he just told us, he goes, yeah, but we got to make all these rings because we could tie it into Black as Night and all this. I'm like, all
Mhm.
right, cool. And that's all. That's actually how it went. And
cool, man.
yeah, it was just real easy. And I can't remember if we asked him in person or wrote him an email or text or something. I can't
Mm,
remember how, but he just said, yeah. He said that'd
Yeah.
be fun because we wanted to bring back Superboy and make it a big deal.
mhm,
Why he's on the team.
right.
And
I
then we
remember
used them
we
every
I
day. Every
remember
book.
we wrote the issue in like an afternoon.
Yeah,
We were on the
Wow.
phone for like 2 hours or something like that. And we
yeah, it
wrote
was a
the whole
phone call.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah, we were just writing notes. He didn't even have to write anything. We just
Yeah,
all
because he
talked.
asked us. He goes, "Well, should we? Should I send you notes?" I'm like, "No, let's just get on the phone and
Yeah,
we'll
Nice.
write everything down as we're talking." He goes, "I don't have to write anything down." I'm like, "No, you're good."
yeah, yeah,
So we just wrote everything down, and then yeah, we did our thing.
yeah. It
Was
Terry?
was
Booster
cool.
Gold in the issue?
No, he
Booster
was
Gold.
No
no,
Booster Gold?
no Booster Gold.
Wow, that's
Surprisingly,
shocking.
Stargirl, all the lanterns, and
Yeah,
including the always adorable Chip.
yeah.
Always. Um,
It was
yeah.
Badge. Badge was the squirrel because that's when I found out that Chip got run over by a Sinestro school bus.
Yep.
And
It
then
was.
the ring left and found Badge. It's a
Yep.
squirrel from his planet. Yeah. because I know at that time I was working with Super Pets at that time, and somehow Jeff was with that too. I forgot how it went because that's how when I was working on Badge with Super Pets, he got involved too, and
Nice.
I feel like he was head of DC Creative for a while.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
I remember working with Super Pets, and I couldn't use certain characters, but then I got approved. Like if with Super Pets, I would pitch a lot of story ideas, and then they'd have to get approved. Like I remember working with Swamp Thing,
Right.
and they said, "All right, your Swamp Thing books, I can't do it." I'm like, "All right," and then 2 days later, "Oh yeah, you could do it. We could do it now." Like what? So stuff like that would happen with Super Pets. So,
Okay.
but I forget. That was a while.
Yeah.
I end up making like 50 books of Super Pets, and it was cool, man.
Good stuff,
50
man.
books Super Pets, 50 books of Tiny Titans.
Yeah,
Did they
man.
use any of your stuff in the movie? In that Super
No,
Pet movie?
they didn't
No?
do that. I knew that they were making a movie because we were at a meeting. We were at something when we had a meeting, yeah, somewhere, and they said that they're going to make a Teen Titans cartoon. They wanted to make a Tiny Titans cartoon,
Right.
and then it ended up turning into Teen Titans Go.
Right.
And but at that time they said they wanted to make Tiny Titans and a Super Pets cartoon. So it ended up where we made 5 episodes of Super Pet cartoons for Cartoon Network. They're each about a minute and a half long, and they're
Okay.
on YouTube. And there were our stories and my artwork and Warner Brothers Animation. So it was kind of cool. And they were doing that because they wanted to make a movie. And then when the movie got announced, um, I was real excited because I thought it was like they were going to continue. But then I heard The Rock was involved and Kevin Hart.
Yep.
Like, and I'm like, what are they gonna do? Like, when
Keanu Reeves.
yeah, I thought Keanu was. Still haven't seen the movie because it wasn't it wasn't adapted from my books. So I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not the. And I saw the trailer. I'm like, nah, it's not it. But like the first initial, like when they were talking about it, it went through a whole bunch of different animation studios. And the Teen Titans Go studio was going to make it. And then I was real excited about it because they actually had Robin in the cartoon. And I thought that would be, or I think he was just a picture on the wall, but he was in the cartoon. I'm like, oh, they get it. And then it went somewhere else. And then finally they said they settled on the animators who did that Scooby-Doo Blue Falcon movie.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yep. The
They
Scoob
said,
movie.
yeah, we're going to use those guys. But they kept telling me that they used my style guide for the movies. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be great. But it went another way. So I just learned that's what happens. Like the characters don't belong. Like the Super Pets aren't mine. Tiny Titans aren't our characters. So they
Right.
can do what they want with them. But I'm just
No.
happy that we got to do all that stuff.
Absolutely.
A lot of stuff. Yeah.
So, Carrie, I believe we had a question that was about their Flash Gordons, right? Did that come up?
Character design. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, who came up with the idea for a different looking Ming?
Oh, well, we had it was really weird because in the beginning, I think it was just both of us. Like I can't remember whose gag is whose. Like in the beginning, we like I said, it was going to be an adventure series, and then when they said they wanted Tiny Titan style, well, we can't give them facial hair anymore. They can't
Yeah.
have beards because they're kind of
Yep.
like
I
kids.
remember, yeah, we had that discussion about the facial hair, so
Yeah.
we eventually, spoiler alert, we found a way around it, but yeah.
Looks
Yeah,
like he's eating some ice cream there. So
Yeah, we build a beard machine so they can
Yeah.
all have beards. Because everyone in Flash Gordon has beards. Zarkov has a beard. Everyone but Flash, pretty much. The Lion Men had beards. The Hawkmen had beards, and we didn't
Prince
want to
has
use.
a mustache. Yep.
Yeah, we didn't want to make anyone human, so we made the Hawkmen are actually chickens. They're hawks. They're birds. So, and then the Lion Men are actually lions. Because I know in the in the serials, what they did was everyone was a guy. It was just a dude, like your uncle's like, oh, you want to part in the movie?
Yeah, the
You know?
Sharkmen have just like a swimming cap on.
Yeah, they got
those guys are the Sharkmen. Yeah.
yeah, and they got fins and they got spears and caps and goggles. And like the lion guys were just hairy guys with beards and long hair. They're a bunch of hippies with hairy legs, and nobody wore pants. Everyone had little black shorts on. It was real weird.
It's warm in outer space.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
very
even
Edgar Rice Burroughs, isn't it?
and even the rockmen had like paper mache rock helmets. Like they had helmets that looked like rocks, but you could tell it's like paper mache. And I saw that and we were laughing at that. We're like, but I want to make everybody not a human. They're all going to be aliens, like animal-like. So
Mhm.
for that could also, like the cartoon had the Lion Man Thun, who was actually a lion, and the lizard women. Remember the lizard women in the cartoon? And I remember
Really.
and a lot of the characters are based off the toys. I got all the action figures sitting behind on my shelf. I got the
Nice.
lizard woman, and there's a blue guy named Beast Man, and he looks like the He-Man Beast Man, but he's blue instead of orange. So he's in the book too. All of these things, all of these characters are in there.
Wow.
And, yeah, but I love the serials, man. When they had
Yeah.
they had Thun the Lion Man, and he's a guy. He just had long hair. What do you need me, Flash? And you got a stick. Yeah, all had sticks and spears.
Good God.
Flash had a ray gun, but all these guys were more primitive. But they were just dudes. They're just guys.
Okay. Well,
I thought
everyone.
that was funny.
No,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, did we answer the beard question? Yeah.
You did good. Yeah, you
Thanks.
answered everything and then some.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, so back to the Tiny Titans. And I will say, if I'm sorry, I need to say this. If you guys ever did like a little mini series about Lunch Lady Darkseid, I will 100% read that. Because anytime like that happened, like when he was principal for a day,
Yeah.
I have to like stop and laugh because especially what was it that line he says? Oh, it's time! It's time for your finals. But we don't end in here, but it will be a finals crisis. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Done.
Water Girl says such a crisis. Oh, it's a finals crisis.
Yeah, that. When I think Robin was fighting a penguin, it was like some character for the cowl, and he was like, "It's the battle for the cowl." I was like, I can't. I can't. Like you guys just slipped in like DC events so well, nonchalantly. Like every once in a while, I was like, wait a second. I know I'm speed reading through these, but
It's
what?
funny because we read we grew up reading Teen Titans, and Jeff John's run on Teen Titans was awesome. And then after him was like Sean McKeever came on there for a little while, and then we got to know Sean McKeever, and he became a friend of ours. So every time one of his books came out, we made fun of it. So we took the Terror Titans and changed them. He had a Teen Titans East. He had all these different guys, and so he approached us at a show once. He goes, "What do you guys do? Wait for my book, and then you just take whatever I make and like."
I'm like, yeah, it's a lot less work that way.
Like, yeah, it's current. And we said it stays current, you know. So we had the Terror Titans were in there. We just make up guys.
Yeah, I remember with Darkseid, we had a conversation about, we wanted to bring Darkseid in, but how do we do that? And I said, the funniest thing to do would be take the most powerful character in the DC universe and just make him the funniest thing in the book. And then, we just came up with a Lunch Lady Darkseid, and it made us laugh for like 3 minutes straight, which is like how we knew it was going to wind up in the book. If you put Darkseid with a hairnet on, that's just
that's what it was.
Yeah.
The hairnet and the spatula and the apron, and that was like what he looked like. And I remember when it was us, because we had to ask for a lot of stuff, like because he's not really associated with Teen Titans. And I remember when we had to ask for Dr. Light because he killed the Ant-Man's mom or something like that, and he killed somebody. So
Identity Crisis.
Sue Dimby.
Yeah, that was so we couldn't use him because he said he was too violent, and we're like, but then he was in a cartoon for one episode, so that slipped in. We made him the science teacher, but with Darkseid, we wanted to use him, and I remember talking. We were on the phone with Dan DiDio, and he says, "Okay, but you gotta send me the drawings before you send him in because he's got to look like he does in the DC universe." And I go, "What do you want him to look like?" And I remember him telling me, "Draw him like J.G. Jones." I'm like, really? So I looked at a J.G. Jones drawing, and then I drew him, and I said, "How about this?" He went perfect.
Well,
That's what I remember. That was the conversation. I don't know if he was just messing with me, but that's what really happened.
that's amazing. Because, like I said, the more I read, because you had Slade, Deathstroke was the principal. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. was a science teacher. Lobo was the gym teacher.
Yeah, Lobo, Coach Lobo.
Coach Lobo. I was like, oh my god, the exercise around the world.
And I remember too. There was a gag where they had to take gym class at the Fortress of Solitude, and General Zod was the gym coach because he said, "Kneel up, down, kneel up, down." I remember that, and they were touching their toes. I remember that too.
Oh my god, no,
Coach
it's
Lobo was awesome.
yeah, like you guys just like the adults were just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it was another one was when Slade and Trigun were playing hooky for the day. So they get the kids out. They're at a
Yeah.
at a baseball game, and I'm like looking at the thing, and I forget. I think it was Trigun was acting a fool at the game, and I think Raven was talking to like a dad and son that were sitting there, and I was
Yeah.
like, wait a second. I was like, is that Reed Richards
Yeah.
and Franklin? I was like,
Yeah, that was them.
what the hell?
The
Like,
little kid had a 4 on his shirt. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And
We were
Yeah.
friends with Chris Eliopoulos, and
Mhm.
he wound up putting something in the Franklin Richards book.
Yeah, he
Uh,
wanted
it-
to. He approached us. He said we should do a crossover.
Right.
And I remember saying, "Let's do a crossover. No one even notices until it comes out. The book comes out." So in the Franklin Richards book, there's a splash page where he opens a door and a bunch of characters come running out, and you see the top of Robin's head, and you see our character Patrick the Wolf Boy's in it too.
Yeah.
nice.
And then around that same time, that same month, we put
Right.
Mr. Fantastic,
Yeah.
and then
Richards.
yeah, a few
It's like
issues
Rick and
later.
Morty and Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's connected though. So Tiny Titans is connected to the Marvel
There was
universe.
there was
yeah.
a few issues later where
Yeah.
we put them back in,
Yeah.
and we got a call from our editor and
Yeah.
saying you can't do that. We're like, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, I let it slide the first time. And
Yeah.
we're like, oh, you noticed that? And she goes, well, how can I not notice it? There's a big 4 on
There's
his
4.
shirt.
And
I'm
Reed's
like, oh,
arm
yeah.
was real long. His arm was real long on the
So
ground.
our editor was real cool. She let it slide the first time, but she's like, yeah, you can't do it again.
Yeah,
So-
she even says, "I know you're friends with Chris Eliopoulos." So I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, that Family Guy Spider-Man moment. Like everybody gets one. You're
Yeah.
like, apparently everybody gets one. Okay, well that's good. That's good to know.
And there's these characters I created too, these aliens, these green aliens that I put in every book that I work on, every universes. So they're the one consistent character that's in all of my books. They were in Tiny Titans, they were in Super Pets, they were in Itty Bitty Hellboy, they were in my own characters. So these one characters, these green aliens are they could go to everywhere. So I'm making like a who's who
So all
book
the
about
universes are connected.
yeah. Everything me and Franco work on is connected to each other. So they could all possibly meet. They just didn't yet. Hellboy didn't meet Robin yet, but he will. He
Oh
can't.
boy, that's
He met Batman.
that's
Did he?
another
Yeah,
crisis
it's true.
waiting to happen. You know.
Mhm.
Oh boy. So, Carrie, Justin, do you guys have anything? I feel like I'm asking all the questions.
You had a
Yeah,
question.
I got a DC question for you. Are there any
Go.
characters that you found in DC that you just couldn't do anything with? You're like, what am I gonna do with like Arkillo? I just can't even. This guy's a lump. Like anyone in that you've run across that you just can't do anything with.
No.
No.
That's good then. Yeah.
No, I
No.
worked on it. I drew all of them.
You name it, we can do something with it.
Yeah. Like
That's
I
true.
drew for Super Pets, they gave me a list of 330 characters to draw and to redesign, make them my own style guide, And then I drew everyone was in there. And then I drew all their pets. And so more than half the pets, I created them. But then DC Comics and Warner Brothers gave them the name. So,
Wow.
so it's pretty nuts. Like, so like whenever we put, like, we even put the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor and Tiny Titans, like, you wouldn't think, what are you going to do with the Monitor? But we found a way. Like,
that's cool.
I think it was the Hall
pretty-
Monitor, right?
Yeah, that was pretty easy. They were
Yeah.
all monitors.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, that was also another great moment. Where's your hall pass? Oh, I'm going to let you go. Why?
Yeah.
He's the monitor. I'm the anti-monitor.
Yeah.
Everything he does is the opposite. I was like, I can't.
I remember in Superman Family, we created a character called who was the negative Superman, and when when he secret identity was Clark Kent because he's negative, and so when
That's a good
he
one.
went to the Daily Planet and Lois says, "Come on, Clark, we have to go," and he goes, "No, I'm not going. Why not? I'm not gonna do it." It's like, man, you're so negative. That's who I am. And he's like, "What the?" So that whole issue was cool because he was like, he was just black and white, and I think his skin was a little gray because he was just a negative guy. I think it was real fun.
Yeah. It's funny because there was another moment that I remembered. I think it was the Penguins pretending to be Batman because I
Oh
remember
yeah,
seeing that, and then I remember the story that our mutual friend Mark Hammond told me. I believe it was Rob that Arthur Adams was a fan of the book,
oh
and
yeah,
that him and
Yeah,
his sister
yeah.
loved that. And I think they spent like a whole convention just squawk.
I went.
yeah,
I went. I was at a convention. I forget where. I think it was Chicago, but
yeah. Chicago, yeah.
I can't remember. And I'm a huge Arthur Adams fan. I love his artwork, and I wanted to meet him. And I went to the table, and I was a little bit nervous, starstruck, because I just love his artwork so much. And I said, I introduced myself, and he goes, "Oh," he goes, "I know that book. Yeah, Tiny Titans. Hold on a second." And he knocks on his table. And I'm like, well, all right, what is this guy doing? And then he knocks on his table, and his daughter comes out from underneath the table. She was like under there drawing,
Hmm.
just hanging out under his table. And he said, "This is the guy that does our favorite book." And
Hmm.
then
What?
they started squonking like the penguins because he told me that was their favorite part because he would read it to her. My brains blew out the back of my skull at that
Hmm.
point because I was like, "Whoa, this is like the coolest thing ever." So yeah, so
Oh
the
yeah.
whole convention they were squonking. That was
Yeah,
cool.
this, and then you came back, I remember, and told me Arthur Adams over there. I'm like, really? Then I went over and the same exact thing happened. He's like, hey. And then I remember I gave him some drawings. I gave him some Robin and some tiny drawings. And
Mhm.
but he didn't tell me that the daughter was there. He just said Arthur Adams was there, and the same thing happened. And I told him, hey, look, this is what happened when I went. He goes, yeah, I know what happened to me too. Like, what the heck? And I gave him drawings, and Art Adams gave me his sketchbook with their
Sketchbook,
mermaids in
yeah.
it.
I've got a
Yeah, and he
sketchbook of all
signed it.
his
Oh
drawings.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
cool. We traded, and I said, told him, man, I really want one of your commissions, but I gotta all the what it costs to buy one. I'm gonna probably, hopefully, I can make that much at the show. And he goes, no, man, just take a book. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks.
There you go.
Yeah,
But
and
What'd
yeah.
you get?
that
What'd you
same
have him do?
show was, yeah, gotta do it, yeah. But that same show every morning, we had at the corner table right on the corner of the aisle. And
Mhm.
so Art Adams and Chris Claremont would stand right by our table in the every morning with their coffee. And I wanted to get to the table early so I could just sit there and listen to them. And they were just talking about like, hey, did you see the game last night? Yeah, blah blah blah. What'd you have for dinner? That was just regular, just two regular guys talking. And
Mhm.
man, that was cool. And it ended up we both were eavesdropping. But then my other friends started gathering, like, "Are you seeing what's happening?" And I go, "Yeah, they'll be back tomorrow at 8:30 tomorrow morning, so gather around." So that was real cool.
That I sympathize with that because I'm basically like that with Carrie and others when we're at a con. I'm just pointing out things, and she just, oh, cool, nice. Just nonchalant. I was like, oh, that's it. And I was like, that's great, Drew. I'm glad that you're excited about that. Like, I have no idea who the fuck that is. Like, wonderful. Like, she's very nice about it, but she's just like, this is why you were on the show. You know this.
She was
I.
probably asleep and you were on the phone. That's what it was.
Yeah,
That's
stuff
pretty.
covering from vampiring. Yeah,
Especially, I think whenever we're at cons, it's not much a hi, let's walk together as friends. It's more like I'm gonna go this way, and Carrie's like, oh god, he's gonna drag me with me. Like I feel so bad, Carrie, every time because yeah,
That's why my wife doesn't come with me to
He's
C2E2 on Friday because I stop at every table in Artist Alley.
and she married you,
oh
so she knew what getting into.
he doesn't stop. He just grabs, and I have a purse that this is my purse. It weighs about 8 pounds, and it has a long handle, and I'm short, and am knocking people's shins out because he's just pulling me through the show, and and it's dragging behind. I try to put it so it's behind me and just like beating my back, but it's just like whack, and like I'm just injuring people as I
If you
go.
want to slow him down one day, you cosplay, so you could stop every 5 feet to pick people, take pictures, and then he has to wait for you.
I have a cosplay I'm working on for next year, so I'm like,
Art,
Yeah.
what are you doing, man? Why are you blowing up my spot? Like, come on, man.
I know how it is, man.
No, I thought we were good. Why are you doing this? Why? Come on.
I'm harsh and you're mellow.
Because it's fun.
But no, I mean, like I said, the Tiny Titans just like 50 books, man. I mean, I feel like you could have just kept writing for like 50 more.
Yeah, we could have. Yeah.
And then it would come back to the Return to the Treehouse. Even Titans Go to the Library. I mean, I feel like it's literally the gift that just keeps on giving. I mean, is it? I just imagine you guys would just text, like, what was it? Art would just be up like, "Hey, I have this idea," and Franco was like, "I have coffee, and then I will read the idea." So is that just kind of how it happens? You have an idea and like, hey, and then you're like, all right, cool, let's bang this out.
Yeah, we usually if we don't talk in a while, Franco will just say, "Hey, you want to talk?" Or I'll do him like, "Hey, you around? Want to talk?" And just chat. I haven't heard from you for a little while, and we end just catching up. Personal stuff, family stuff, just whatever we're doing, and then we end up coming up with an idea, and that's how fast it goes, and and we don't really pitch as much as, well, maybe we do. We do it all. But I get more gigs by people approaching me with something versus me trying to pitch. Like for Flash Gordon, like instant, like we were approached, and like for Tiny Titans, I got a phone call and I was approached again. So like a lot of the stuff doesn't happen with a pitch, but so when we're on the phone, we're like, "Hey man, these guys are asking Flash Gordon," and then we just start writing it. And that's what happened with Itty Bitty Hellboy. We just started writing it, and
oh my god, yeah,
it just happens. Like I don't know, and we slip into that mode so easily. We don't have to struggle. Like I never get writer's block. I don't even know what writer's block is. Like I have, it's maybe a block you write on. That's all I can think of. Like I don't know what it is because I never have it. I write every day, and if I don't have an idea, I just start sketching, and an idea happens. So I don't.
Oh yeah, I've got mine behind me. Yep.
Yeah. So I like.
You don't get to tell me Itty Bitty Hellboy, Art. I'm already in on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we
man.
wrote it. We started writing a volume 3, but it never happened. Like I remember the first gag was tomatoes. We were doing tomato gag. I forgot what it was. The Baba Yaga was picking tomatoes and Hellboy showed up or something.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
I forgot what it was. There was a garden or something.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. He was making ketchup with his fist, I think, smashing tomatoes. Something like that was happening. I can't remember. There it is. He got the big fist. Fist of doom.
I pulled it out just for this occasion. So
I've never heard this one. How did you guys meet? Like, did you just run into each other at some point and were just like, hey, you're cool. You want to write comics together? Sure. Let's go
get your eyes cross across the Florida convention and just.
Should we tell them the legendary? Yeah.
You want the real story or the made up one? Because we used to make up a story every time.
Like the Joker.
Every convention we would make up a different story. But the real one is we were I was at a convention, one of these really bargain basement, hotel conventions.
Right.
It was in the middle of, I don't know, Massachusetts. I don't even remember. New Hampshire, Massachusetts, somewhere in there.
Something like that.
Granite State.
And there was nobody attending this show. There were like maybe 3 people walking around, and I was set up, and there was this one guy. He was reading everything at my table, and back then, we did our own books. Like we hadn't met yet, so everything I did in my book, I wrote, I edited, I inked, everything. So there were bound to be mistakes, and the guy was reading my book and telling me everything I did wrong in my books, and trying to be nice at first and saying, oh yeah, when you're doing it yourself, you miss this or that. And then after about a half an hour or so, I kind of lost my patience,
Hmm.
and he said, he goes, "Oh, you missed a word here," and I grabbed the book out of his hand. I'm like, you know what? If you don't like my books, just don't read them. It's just that simple. And right at that moment, Art walked by, and he goes, "Hey, you sell a lot of books that way?" And I'm like, "Who the hell are you, dude?"
It's a nice
And
tactic
then
you got there.
yeah, and then he sat down at the table next to me and set up, and I'm like, "Ah, this is gonna be great."
And then
Gonna have
a
to
few
spend
minutes
the
later, I
entire
said,
yeah.
"Can I
We're gonna
look
have
at
to
your
spend
books?"
the whole weekend dealing with
Yeah.
this idiot now because he just,
Mm.
So yeah, then like a few minutes later, he's like, "Hey, can I read your book?" And I'm like, now you're just rubbing it in." But
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Then
basically
we
how
end
we
up.
met.
I ended up reading his books, and I said, "These are cool. You want to trade?" And we ended up trading. I think we traded 3 of his, 3 of mine, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then we didn't hang out too much that weekend, but just at the show, and then we would go to dinner with our friends or whatever. But then while we're talking there, it turns out I only lived 20 minutes from his house at the time.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
he was in New York and I was in Connecticut. So it was like there was a mall that separated us. So
Yeah.
we were like 20 minutes from each other. And I never knew that, but we had to drive 6 hours to meet each other. But but 6 hours another way. But
Yeah.
then I just started going to his house for
I'm like, "Yeah,
pizza,
you wanna come
wrestling.
over? Yeah,
Yeah.
watch wrestling, have pizza."
Yeah.
Standing at
And
the window.
A
Yeah.
good Connecticut
Yeah.
pizza, by the way.
Plus
Yeah.
yeah, they had pizza. His family had a restaurant.
Restaurant.
So
Yeah.
plus I was real poor. I was so poor back then.
But you
Um,
said you lived in Connecticut, I assumed, because that's where I
yeah,
was from.
yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, cool. Yeah. But I was like, I had no
Berlin
money,
Turnpike.
no food, so I would go to his house and eat. It was good, and then we watch wrestling. But I bring a sketchbook and drawings, and then just sitting there and drawing and watching Chris Benoit and all this stuff, and who's that other guy, the Lion Tamer,
Chris Jericho,
Chris Jericho, thinking
Yeah.
him
my
and
favorite
Sting,
wrestler.
WCW. We were watching on WCW,
Mhm.
Lex Luger, all these guys. So I started drawing this little face in my sketchbook,
Well,
and
first we did
yeah,
the crossover. We did the
yeah, we
Weird
did,
Al Crybaby crossover, yeah.
yeah,
Said, "Hey, wanna cross over our characters?" We're like, "Yeah, that'd be cool."
yeah, and
So
we
we did
did
that.
that. We started co-publishing our books because at the time I was publishing books, he was publishing books, and we co-published. We teamed up our guys, and
Mhm.
then one day I was doodling a face, I thought he was a vampire boy, and I named him Patrick the Vampire Boy, and then I started tweaking him, making more stuff, and the faces made us laugh, and then we just started coming up with ideas and stories for this little character. But then while we're doing it, we're like, I drew him fuzzy and like, oh, let's turn him into Wolf Boy instead. That would be more fun.
Mhm.
Um, and then that was it pretty much.
Yeah, we did about 20 issues of that
Yeah,
as well,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, we did. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it
Um,
was pretty cool. So that's what like Wolf Boy books. We brought them to conventions and started selling them and drawing people for $1, making fun of all the guys and make fun of the guys and make the girls cute. That's what my drawings. And then uh, we caught the eye of some DC editors, and that was it. They said,
Yeah.
and that was the phone call. Can you draw some DC Comics books for us, but draw them in like Patrick the Wolf Boy, but make them for us? I'm like, sure. And that was yeah, that's how it starts, man. It was very, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was very like we didn't have to I didn't have to sit in offices and pitches. Like everything just happened, and
Yeah.
it was kind of cool.
Basically,
Yeah,
when we stopped pitching, that's when they came looking for us.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah. When I pitched, I would get like they tear you a new one. I have many ones that are tore open and I had to send home. Like so many
I have
times I had to
many
call
I
my
have
mom
many
crying.
torn ones, yeah.
Torn one. They were torn open, and like it's hard to close them without stitching them. But
Yeah.
then I had to call my mom all the time and say, "Why you call me once a month?" You know, and I'm crying because these guys are telling me that I can't draw and stuff. So
I got torn again, yeah.
I got torn open again. And then once we stopped and we just published our own damn comic, and when Wolf Boy was going to be the Swan Song, that was going to be the one book that we made, and I was going to go back to Chicago and do all these things and just forget it. I don't know what I was going to do. Is go work at the grocery store or something. And Then it sold a
Well,
whole
that
bunch of
was
copies, and we kept
yeah.
going.
That's because we were submitting it to Diamond, and Diamond basically we submitted Patrick, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to carry your books anymore.
No, we didn't submit
Or
Patrick. It was
oh,
submitted
that's right, we
before.
didn't submit.
Yeah, submitted
We
all
were
our other stuff.
yeah. They told us that we weren't going to do because we were developing Patrick. We were going to get ready to do that.
Yeah,
We
we're
had
gonna do it
solicited
without
we had
the
solicited
distributor.
something else, and they're like, no, we're not going to carry any of your books,
Yeah,
and we're like, oh great, now our only way of getting these things distributed is gone. What are we going to do? And
yeah,
we said, oh, let's just do a last couple books and then just be done with it. But they started selling at conventions,
yeah.
and then it wound up. Somebody from Diamond Comics somewhere at a show, I think it was in Florida, bought one of the Patrick books and then put it in the catalog
Yeah.
Oh, so you got a
without
card number
our
in there.
knowing it. Yeah, because the thing that Art and I did was, if you read any of the Patrick the Wolf Boy books, if you read the credits page, there's a whole bunch of people listed, like an editor, inker, and all that other stuff. And we made all those people up.
There was 13 people on our staff.
Yes,
It was only me and him, and
it was just me and him.
11
So
other
like
people.
when I called Diamond and I'm like, how did this book wind up in your catalog? And they're like, oh, someone from your company sent it. And I'm like, who sent it to you? And they're like, oh, Tacky Beckett. And I'm like, oh, that's BS, because
Yeah.
we made up Tacky Beckett. There is no Tacky Beckett.
She's our
So,
assistant inker. Yeah.
yeah. So so they purchased it and put it in there. So, Art's like, well, what are we going to do now? And I'm like, you know what? They canceled us, dude. So, you know
Yeah.
what? When the orders come in, we're not even going to fill them. Screw that. This way they'll have to be, they'll have to answer the question as, what happened to this book,
Yeah.
But then that didn't work out, because when the orders came in, they were really good.
Yeah, like the last book I made my book Yogs right now. I'm redid Yogs 30 years later, but Yogs was the book I solicited to them, and I only sold 158 copies. I remember that, worldwide distribution. And so then they canceled after that. And then Wolf Boy came back and the orders were 4,000.
Yeah, 1,000.
Nice.
What the heck? How does, I had no idea how that happened. And that just, then we were mad. We're like, screw these guys, They canceled us.
It's like, we're not going to fill these, right? And I'm like, well.
And then we did the math and like, well,
maybe we should.
Here's what we're going to make. We're like, oh, I could pay rent. And I'm real poor at that time. So then we end up.
Wow.
we're
For
like, what should we-
perspective, the first Ninja Turtles book was originally 3,000 copies.
Yeah.
So 4,000 out of the gate.
Yeah. In the year 2000. Yeah. September 2000, I think it came out.
Wow.
And then we're like, what should we do next? Like, we should make another one. So
well, yeah, it was basically 4,000 copies for a book that we didn't even submit or solicit.
Yeah.
It just wound up in the book,
Yeah.
And then we realized that, all of our other books, the Craybabies and Weirdsville, we would do number 1, number 2, number 3. And we had a discussion. And I said, what we should do is we should not put numbers on them.
Because we see a decline in sale. Like number 1 does great. Number 2, not as good. Number 3, like almost nothing. Yeah. So we're like, man, there's a pattern here. Like, that's why number 1, just make number 1. So yeah, with Patrick's, there were no numbers on the books. Yeah. We just put out specials.
Specials, yeah.
Yeah, Christmas special, Halloween special, Father's Day special, Mother's Day special, Valentine's special. Yeah, the only thing, we had to get it out by the holiday. That's the only thing. So if we solicit Valentine's, and we liked Halloween because it's the end of the month. We still got that month to work on it. But Valentine's Day was rough because we only had 13 days before the holiday hits. Like, oh, we got to get this done in January, man. But yeah, that's how we got around that. And the orders, the numbers were consistent.
Yeah,
they might have went down a bit, but not much. Not like number 1. That's why number 3 is always the rarest book, because nobody wants it. By the time number 3 shows up at stores, or by the time they order number 3, they're just getting number 1 or something like that, or number 4 is the one that drops off that kills the series or something. So
maybe that's why you put the first appearances in either 3 or 4.
Yeah, first appearance. Yeah, and one of them's rare. And number 2 is always hard to find. Number 2 and I think number 3. Like when I did my original run of the Craybaby Adventures, I ran out of issue 3 right away, and it's hard. And I had to actually buy a copy for myself because I didn't have one. It's like, man, I can't find it. It's gone. So I had to buy one. Once in a while, I have to do that. I keep selling the books, and I forget to save one for myself.
Could you reprint them if you wanted to? If you have the masters?
Yeah, my own creations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could. Everything I have is scanned it in the computer now, saved. Yeah, every book I ever worked on, and we were uploading to Comixology for a long time too. Um, for years, like Comixology was awesome, and before it went to Amazon, and we had I think we had 83 books up there, 87 books. There were 25 or 26 titles, and we took all our old stuff. I scanned it all and put it up digitally, and I was consistently getting downloads every month for Comixology. It was really cool. And then once it went to Amazon, bam, I get 0 downloads. Nobody cares. So that made us print our own books. Started printing our own books, and now our websites we print our own books and do books like we did with Patrick. We just do them directly just for our websites and for conventions.
Mhm.
I don't even try to distribute them because it costs too much to print and distribute, and everyone has to get half and all this stuff. And if we made a book now, it'd have to be like $15 cover price, but to make any money,
Gee.
because
Wow.
like half of that's 7 and half of that's 3, and then we're getting paid $3 for a book that costs around $3 to make. So like, nah, it's like not even a bother. It's not, we're not worth bothering. So we just print a book and then we bring it to shows and sell directly to you guys, and like we make the whole $2 profit instead of having to split it with everybody. So that's what we've been doing. I've been doing that since 2022 or 2021. Since Comixology went to Amazon, I've been doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow.
we've both been. And right now, on my website, I have all the books I print on my own, and they're all up there. And it's cool, man. It's very free. It's got freedom. And like this is another thing. Like we have all these awesome characters, and I must have about 400 characters. I know it because I'm making a Who's Who book. I got 11 books. There's 40 pages. There's 40 characters in times 11. So it's 44 characters are in these books. So instead of pitching them to people and just getting that rejection, getting your heart broken again and calling your mom all over again, I just print them myself. This way there's no rejection. Nobody can tell me I can't do. So
Mhm.
that's what we've been doing, man. It feels really good. And I think that builds confidence, like I got the gig with a Cat in a Hat, and when the Cat in a Hat people first approached me, Dr. Seuss, and they asked me if I was interested in making these comics, and I said, "Do I have to draw like Dr. Seuss?" And they said, "No." Like, "Oh, good." I said, "Do I have to rhyme?" And they said, "No." I said, "Oh, good." I said,
Even better.
and I said, "What do I do?" And the Dr. Seuss said, "Make Cat in a Hat comic books the way you make comic books." And I'm like, "Oh, that's even better." So,
Nice.
and they're real funny, man. I got like 3 pages or 4 pages away from finishing book 2 right here. I got here, and
Mhm.
it'll be done before Thursday for sure. And but that stuff, I mean, I was getting to where I think that stuff, like when they read or create our own stuff that we don't have an editor for, they read that and says, "Wow, this is good," even without guidance or like with rules. These books are still good. So I think that's what gives other publishers confidence that they read they read my Giro Man book or something like that, and they're like, "Wow, this is a really silly book, but it's still funny." So I know he's going to do a good job with something like Flash Gordon. We know it in Cat in a Hat, and like um, it's so fun. And to me, a lot of this stuff, like either it's creator own, our own creators, or legacy characters and historical characters, whatever we're working on, it all feels the same. Like Cat and Hat feels like I'm writing Super Pets or or Flash Gordon. It all feels the same. It
Yeah.
doesn't like one project's not different from the next. You know
Cool.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing throws a monkey wrench. There's no monkey wrenches. Even though I like monkeys, I'm okay with wrenches, but I like monkeys more.
Oh,
But there's no
I've
monkey wrench.
I've read the books about characters turning into chimpanzees and such. I
Oh yeah.
understand.
And I
You,
always like we always like to put monkeys or Sasquatches in all of our books too. Yeah.
oh,
So,
So-
what about something like Kid Cthulhu? You ever think of going all
Mm.
Lovecraftian, itty bitty type of thing?
Oh God.
Maybe. Our buddy Scoot does that right now. He's got a little Cthulhu book.
Oh boy.
There's a cute cat Cthulhu one that I saw, or Cthulhu cat that I had.
Cthulhu.
Listen, there's so much there. So someone just asked, where are good places for people to self-publish?
There's been a
Online.
lot of
Yeah.
low print run guys popping up all over the place.
Mhm.
We use Comic Wellsprings. That's what we've been using. But it all depends on how much money you want to spend. That's really all it is.
Yeah,
'Cause
just
they're
do your
getting-
research. There's a lot of stuff out there you can just look up and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, if you do self-publishing and search it, and you'll find a lot of low comic book run printers. And
Yeah.
most of them are in the US too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it easier.
Yeah. It's cool. I just like it making. We use several different printers, but
And
depending on
plus,
what we're doing.
you could always do what Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird did. They had that low print run of their original Turtles, and now those issues, like what, thousands of millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
The last graded one that I saw Steve Levine had, which was like a 9.4, was 140,000 CGC graded 9.4. First print.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow,
So
that's great. Wow.
get that low print. Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
It's his
wow.
birthday today, actually. It's Owen
Wow.
Wilson's birthday.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow.
You know what? I will take that meatloaf.
That's what I had is I didn't realize this, but reading the book that you had people dressing up like Tiny Titans, like kids and
Yeah.
stuff. So what's that like seeing, children or maybe even their parents joining in, which I would love to see a family duo of stuff. What's that like when you're at a con and kids are dressed up like the characters and, they'll send the fan mail and crayon and stuff.
Yeah.
How's that like? Not just for Titans
Mm-hmm.
thing you've done.
It's pretty amazing when I had a kid dress up like Drew from my Drew and Jock comic, and it's cool when they dress up as your own character. We had a few Wolf Boys, we have a few, and it's awesome, man. And it's like I know Franco probably feels the same way. Like we sit at home drawing all the time, and I don't see the effects of the comics until we go out in public or go to the con, or people wait in line to meet us, and that's when we feel it. And a lot of people who read Tiny Titans are like college now, and a lot of people before that I was drawing Gorilla comics for Disney, and I meet those guys, and every time I meet a Gorilla kid, they're adult now, they end up crying. I don't know what it is, but they cry in front of me, and so then it gets me all weepy. And then, but that's starting to happen with Tiny Titans kids because they're getting older now, and they're like, "Oh my God, I had these books when I was a kid," and then they start crying. So that's mostly what happens. What's the hardest or the coolest thing? Yeah.
It's a big impact. I've had a lot of people tell me that they learned how to read with Tiny Titans, which is always like very impactful. That gets to me. People that have been impacted in different ways. Like I did a book with Sarah Richard called The Ghosty Owl, and I had a woman come up to me in one of the conventions talking about she had lost her son and how it impacted her, and like it was like a gut punch for me. I was like, like you don't think about how what you're doing here in my studio like will affect people out in the world. It's really just mind blowing. The thing, those get me, stories like that get me when people come up with my artwork tattooed on their body is another thing. That's
Yeah.
like, I had this one guy, like, you get that feeling like you're being watched, and he was on the outskirts of the crowd, and I felt like I was being watched because he kept looking at me, and then he finally came up to me, and I'm like, oh, this is the moment where I die.
Well, I had a good run.
he came up to me and he goes, I've been trying to work up the nerve to show you this, and I'm like, oh God. And then he lifted up his shirt, his sleeve, and his entire arm was this little vampire character that I would draw, and I was like, oh my God, why would you do that?
Mhm.
But it means a lot to them. It means something to them, and that's
Mhm.
why they did it. And it's a really, really cool feeling. I feel like I have like a big responsibility when I'm doing some of this stuff. Even though I'm doing it for fun, it's
Mhm.
someone's first comic, or it's a story that's going to impact somebody, or
Mm.
artwork is going to impact somebody. So it's cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm making my third book right now, Yogg's book 3, and I always I always want to make the kids cry. I want to make them feel something like what Up went in the movie Up. You're crying the
Mhm.
first 7 minutes, and you're crying,
Yeah.
and the movie just barely started. But
Oh yeah.
people don't always, or I don't see a lot of books, especially cartoony, like doing that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
my Yogg's book 3, like I started writing this story, and I'm like, all right, I know what the ending's gonna be, and I wrote the ending. I was at a show, and a hurting show, nobody was there, Tumbleweed Con, and I'm sitting there because you see the tumbleweed go by, and so I'm sitting there with my buddy Daryl Young. I go, hey man,
Yeah,
uh, I was like, I went over and told him and read him the story, and then he started crying, and he goes, "Don't change it. That's a good ending." So I'm real curious of what people are going to think when they read this, because most of my comics are just funny. They're not like, they
Right.
don't have that emotional push. And we had we had a story with Superman Family that we wrote, that it was a death of Superman story where he dies, and
Mm.
but we never got to make it, and I was like, oh, we didn't get there. But it was where uh he dies. It was the same thing like with Doomsday, but Lois was holding Superman, and
Mm.
she's crying, and everybody had, it was a sad moment, and then you see his eyes open. Lois, are you crying? He's like, what? You're alive. And then he goes, I'm Superman, I can't die. And he's like, and that was it. But it was a moment where like he was dead. But we didn't get to do that, so we actually put that in Grimace Island in our issue 4, where he fought the bad guy, and same scene, but it was
Cool.
instead of Lois, it was the volcano goddess. So it was pretty cool. And she held him, and she screamed, "Nah!" Like belt, like Superman did in the movie. No, rah 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 rah, and he flew away. But she did something like that. So that was cool.
And he turned back time by reversing the
Yeah.
rotation of the Earth. Yep.
And then in our comic, is little Grimace only speaks Spanish. So when you see her crying, he goes, "Mi amor." And he went, "What? You're alive?" So I thought that was pretty cool. So that was actually a Superman story, but we changed it up, put it in our Grimace book.
All right. Wow. Thank you guys. That is amazing. No, but no, I mean, and I say that as, as someone who's met you repeatedly, and Franco, I've told you that me and my partner Angie, we have that we had that long-standing tradition. Anytime we saw Franco at a show, our cosplay wasn't official unless we put some greenbacks in Franco's hand, and he drew something. And like, I'm literally looking at it because it's like became this growing art wall in our apartment, and I'm just looking at it right now, and I'm just like, yep, that's Franco. That's Franco. There's art too over there. So just, you know, just keep doing what you're doing, guys.
Awesome.
You're
Thank
doing
you.
good. Not like you needed permission from me. Like you're
Yeah. We were going to keep doing it whether you decided we should or not.
all right. Cool.
I was actually going to stop today.
There
I'm
you go.
glad you said something. Yeah.
My mind's aflutter with all things that you could do, like different pet series, right? Like
Yeah.
what kind of pet would the Phantom Stranger have, and then he gets a book, right?
Yeah.
It's obviously a bird. I'm thinking, but
He probably
or you could
has
do,
one. I forget.
tiny turtles. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of the stuff that, believe it or not, there's a lot of stuff that comes our way that I don't know. Sometimes, like, I can't do everything.
Gotta
I
have
know.
time. Yeah,
I
know?
the day you guys do like little Ghostbusters, I'm done. I'm just.
that's a good one, man.
I swear to God, I see that, I'm gonna be like, well, we're good. I mean, there was already a junior Ghostbusters, but we will accept this.
I
You
would
know,
like
At
to
one
do
point, we were offered something in Ghostbusters, and it just didn't. We couldn't do it.
yeah,
No.
you know, Yeah, it
Well,
was Slimer or something. I forget what it was.
yeah, it's probably you guys were doing your take on Slimer and the Ghostbusters, something like that, because that was the show after a while. Well,
Oh yeah.
we're coming past a little bit an hour, so we're gonna kind of wrap things up. So thank you both for coming on again. You know, I can believe I can speak for us and Leo, who's still stuck in the box. Carrie, we're gonna eventually poke some holes. Very excited about Flash Gordon Adventures, and I believe you
Yeah.
said that out the end of the month.
Yeah,
I
the
think it comes out next week, actually.
26th,
Nice.
26th.
25th or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And in Skokie and in Harrison, both our comic shops, we're going to be doing signings.
Sweet,
Yeah.
Franco being in a New York store, and I'll be at the Skokie store near Chicago.
nice.
And we're going to have buttons and posters and the books and all kinds of cool stuff.
Sweet.
We can we order signed copies from you guys? For those
Probably.
of us who live in
From
like
the store.
Nebraska, because like, I'm
Oh.
in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I can't drive, so I can't
Yeah,
get to
we
the store.
do
Yeah.
mail order. If you call the store
I-
and ask them, they'll
Okay.
do it. Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Awesome,
absolutely.
Carrie.
cool,
Nice.
Yeah, but
Awesome.
so essentially, what Leo would say is, you know, if you guys like, how is the best way for anybody to get in touch with you, or anything like what social medias are you using, that kind of thing. So, and
Oh yeah, we're all over the place. 26. There he is. There's Adam.
there you go, Adam.
Yeah,
Punk rock.
I'm on Facebook a lot, Instagram, and emails and stuff.
Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and website. So yeah,
Yeah, just put my name, Google my name, you'll find me.
Google
You
me. Yeah.
are you guys doing any shows in the next couple of months, or are you just laying low for the winter?
Not me. I'm not going anywhere till spring of next year, probably.
I got Sweet Bernie Con on Saturday. Well, it's actually not sweet. That's what I call it. It's Warrior Con. It's at a high school convention in Des Plaines, Illinois. Here, yeah,
Oh, no kidding.
yeah, it's a high
weekend?
school kids. Yeah, and I forgot what else I'm
That's
doing.
not far from me.
Then I think I'm good till this C2E2 is my next one.
Oh,
I
nice.
think it's in April.
We always represent the Dorkening out there. I've been there for the last
nice.
3 years for the Dorkening Podcast Network. So seeing you guys there, you know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, man.
There, we'll have copies of Flash, and we're working
Oh,
on
Yeah.
some stuff for the second one that's coming out eventually.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. There's more in store, but they haven't announced things yet. So
We'll keep.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
no, I can't. There's a
No.
lot. I want to show a bunch of stuff, but I can't. That's why I haven't been online a lot. Like I haven't done a show in about probably over a month.
Wow.
But once I finish, probably next week, I want to draw Yog's book 3. I want to do it on a live show. Because when I draw my pages live, I keep going. I don't get up and get too many refills, and I don't slack off and look on the internet or nothing. So I'm gonna. I want to
Adam
call.
says-
I want to call 30 Days of Yogs. Did he tell me to shush?
He did.
Yeah. Carrie.
About Yogs? I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Oh
Well-
yeah, I know. No, it's stuff I can't talk about. I know what he's talking about. Yeah, but
Well-
I'm gonna. Yeah, I want to do a book called or a show, 30 Days of Yog, so I could finish my deadline in 30 days. So I think I could do it.
Godspeed or
Yeah.
flat speed, you know. Well,
Flash speed. Pew, pew.
speed, man, you know. Well, thank you.
Flash
both.
beat.
Yeah, down with Ming, and thank you both again for coming on. Franco, I'm sure I'll run into you. Art,
Yeah, man.
there'll be a show, man. You know, keep the hat on, keep drawing, do your thing.
Yeah.
But
Come by New York on the 30th and get a signed Flash book. So yeah.
I'll definitely. Well, thank you guys again for coming on. We really appreciate it, and we'll try to keep your real origin story under lock and key, so then you can continue to replicate the
Well,
fake.
next time we're on with you, we'll make up a different one.
That makes
But-
difference.
I was gonna
No, no.
say, how do we know that this was the real?
The
we
real
don't-
one is there's a Sasquatch in the real one.
Do it.
Yeah.
Squatching.
It's like Grand Theft Auto. You're not sure if it's a real Sasquatch or not.
I don't know. Don't know. But
True.
thanks again so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And if you guys have any other projects coming up, Kickstarters or anything, let us know. We'd be more than glad to promote that for you and help you make that shmoney,
Yeah,
Cool,
man.
man.
Awesome.
You guys are awesome.
All right, thank you. You guys are awesome too. We're all awesome. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man. We're still live.
Oh yeah, we're gonna stay on and be doing the news and stuff.
All right, I'm gonna go. Thanks, guys. You
All right,
guys are awesome.
bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye-bye.
And
I
we're
hate
back.
this layout. Boom.
And
There we go.
yes, and then there were 3. Okay, so Coop, thank you for joining us for the news. We're gonna blow through the shorts that we have. So just do what you do. Just be pretty and eye candy it, and chime in your things in your uniquely Walt Simonson way. And just to let you know, Coop, if you have Walt on, I want you there, and I
Oh
want,
man, that'd be great.
and I just want to be like, which one are you?
So
Like,
this
you guys
is a
have
joke
just a
that
little
you and I
moment
had.
here. Okay.
Yeah, because he says that I look like Walt, and to be truthful, we were kind of standing next to each other at Terrificon, and he did look like my future version with like kind of like white hair and all that. So, and I did have the round glasses too at the time. So, yeah, kind of, I get it.
yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. I mean, I saw it, and I was just like,
Well, you were
future.
there when I met Wheezy Simonson, right? So that was a moment.
I was like, future Coop. Like, it was like,
Maybe that's why she was so nice to me. That's
Yeah.
good.
it's just, you look.
You guys keep
familiar.
having a moment. I'll be right back. After
Okay.
a second.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, this would be a great time to break for our sponsor, Deadly Grounds Coffee. The Dorkening is presented by Deadly Grounds Coffee. Coffee to die for. You can check out some of their great flavors, as well as check out some of the other Dorkening shows, such as Retro Redoctopus or The Dork Knight. It's a podcast about Batman with 2 guys that love Batman, myself and Leo Pond, and then Brandon, who does not as much love Batman.
Very
So,
about the
you can
Batman.
check those out. We've got the Dead Dads Club, Strange. What was it?
The Token Dead.
Token with Dead, still Token. Yep. Strange Show. Sorry, I said that wrong, but yeah, check them out. Then you've got the entire Owl Network. So the Owl Light Network.
And Mr. Cooper, let's not also dissuade your show, Epic Tales from the Sewer. Discussing all things TMNT related and such. You guys have some good stuff. There's always stuff to talk about. And
like an audiobook reading of the Ninja Turtle books, if you want to check that out. I do the IDW series, and I did the entire Last Ronin and the entire Lost Years. If you like silly voices with turtles and all that, that's what I do.
Indeed, it was fantastic. And then you always get some great guests on. The entire network is full of just wonderful people doing great things. Like there's not enough hours in the day to promote all the good work that we here on the Dorking do.
Yeah.
Because it's always so fun when we're all at a con together. Because I'm like, this must be how they feel during intercompany crossovers.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Oh, we're all in the same room. Like, why? What's happening? What crisis is coming? Like, I was like, I knew it.
Exactly. That shout out to Bro Pro, to Tom Dog, doing his thing with his wrestling videos. He did a Ghostbusters video not too long ago. I don't know if you caught that one, but
yeah, did, and he
did a Ghostbusters month.
Yeah. All the animation. I think I saw he was going through that. He did the movies, so
yep. And not a single time Coop was I contacted. So I was
no,
like,
not even. Yeah.
Nope. I was like, okay, let's see how. I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm not bitter about it. I'm not bitter. I'm watching.
Well, the point is, we have some amazing friends, and we reach out and say thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to our fellow shows in the Dorkening Network. So,
indeed. And now the news. So, Carrie, let's get right to it. Yes, the news.
All right.
Carrie, do you want me to just this or? Or about it.
I'm getting here.
The world.
Hello.
Doom.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yes. So, let me move this where I can see things. Okay. So what we have going on right now, if you don't know yet, after becoming the Sorcerer Supreme, Doom is taking over the Marvel Universe with One World Under Doom. It's going to be a 9-issue series written by Ryan North with art by R.B. Silva. And we're going to get our chance to see what it's like to be Dr. Doom himself. We get to see everything from his perspective, it sounds like. So the covers that we have for Variant Watcher, this is the main cover by Ben Harvey. Then this one is, I just love it. It's by Rose Besh. This one here is by Nick Bradshaw.
Yep.
Starting with, we have the negative space trend going these days. This one is by John Tyler Christopher.
Right.
Drew, you're going to love the next one. It's our Hidden Gem cover by Mike Mignola.
That early Mignola work. It's so full.
Yes.
It's like half of Triumph and Torment right there.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, again,
I'd still buy it.
I mean, God, yeah. Absolutely. Keep going, Carrie.
Okay. Next one. This is by Rod Reyes.
Oh yeah.
Nice guy.
We have this one. I think it's cool. I like the little Doctor Strange at the bottom there, by R.B. Silva himself. And the last variant we have is by Will Sliney.
Nice. Great stuff.
So
the first issue, man.
Yeah. So that's what we. I got to move things around so I can. That's what we have going on there for Variant Watch, and that's all we have for Variant Watch right now. So
in February, Carrie. So that'll, we'll already be starting 2025 when that drops. So hey, Doom.
Can't go wrong with Doom at all. Yeah.
No, wrong show. Sorry.
Doom toots as Doom pleases.
Okay, well that's the only thing for Variant Watch. We might as well just get to the news. And you know what time it is, kids.
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains fly under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News, your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's Comic News.
Yes.
All right.
Still there. All right. Let's do this. Right. Starting off with more Doom stuff. So, also arriving in February, we are spinning out of Incredible Hulk issue 800, which will be dropping soon, which is also Incredible Hulk issue 19. It's just the milestone is 800. There will be spinning out of that is a Red Hulk series. We're going to see a preview for that. It's a prelude story from writer Benjamin Percy and artist Jeff Shaw. We're going to be seeing the Red Hulk, aka General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. So following their work that Percy and Shaw did on Sabretooth War earlier last year, so basically, Dr. Doom has imprisoned Ross in Latveria, trying to exploit his military expertise. So Ross's only hope of getting out of Doom's kingdom is essentially unleashing the Red Hulk's strength and leading an assault on the kingdom. So the important thing is that Ross is not the only person there. There are going to be other brilliant military, criminal, and political minds kind of forming a think tank to carry out Doom's plan. So they've said that there will be, the guest star will be the Machine Man, Deathlock, and more. This drops February, and most likely this comes just in time for, as we've seen, the Red Hulk's debut in the new Captain America Brave New World, which we already saw a second trailer for most recently. So again, this is Ben Percy. He's just been knocking it out of the park for Marvel for a long time. And I just feel like he is this. He has the Wolverine Deadpool series that'll be also be coming out next year. man's on fire. And having us met him at Terrificon, he is the nicest guy, and he is amazingly deep voiced and masculine and very buff, as Carrie likes to mention every time. I think she definitely has a Ben Percy crush.
He did a great job on that Wolverine Predator series as well.
And he's doing a great job with the Predator Black Panther series.
Black Panther,
and he did say that at the end of that issue 4, they will have essentially what will be the third arc will be hinted at. So very exciting there.
Nice.
But yeah, all these covers for that are released. Everything looks amazing. I'm very excited to see where he goes with this.
Are you going to read
Yeah,
this
this one's going to be a foil, I think.
Well, nice. I'm definitely going to check it out. Philip Kennedy Johnson has been killing it for this Incredible Hulk run, so this is going to be spinning out of one of his upcoming issues. So it's definitely worth giving a try. I mean, regardless of how you feel about the Red Hulk's existence, Ben Percy just does such a good job with his stuff. Like, I'm really interested to see where he goes with it.
Yeah, it's fair. Yep.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the Immortal Hulk. I thought that was a great series, probably one of the freshest takes that they've had on it, making it into a horror sort of franchise.
Yeah.
That was such a good one.
Oh,
and it is
fans. So
it was perfect to make Hulk into a horror. That's what it needed to be all along. I guess I can't speak for the Hulk, but speaking for somebody who, when I was younger, I saw the Hulk as like, oh, good, he just smashes things, or he walks around hitchhiking, depending on if you're reading a book or if you're watching the television. Like, ooh, touched by an angel, green. It was kind of
I
the
was
thing.
thinking more of Highway to Heaven, but still, yeah, you're all right.
Oh, that's the one that, yeah, that's what you're.
You guys are ridiculous.
But yeah, I love Monster Hulk. Obviously, why wouldn't I? Because I'm a horror fan. But seeing a character that I thought was just totally one-sided become like one of the most deep, like psychologically driven characters in the comic universe was just incredible.
Yeah.
Get that?
By the way, hello, Bernie. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So basically that. So then next up is a little magic. Carrie, take it away.
Yeah, so next up here, if I can... Oh, I have to pull it up. Forgive me, folks. I am not totally Leo. I don't have like 10 different screens going at the same time, so I have to move things around. What we have coming up here is Zatanna is going to be an all-in limited series starting on February 19th. So Jamal Campbell of Superman and Far Sector fame is writing a 6-issue series for the All-In Initiative, bringing Zatanna back to the main stage to bring her magic show to the world. Her plans get disrupted by the Lady White, a ghost who kidnaps her crew, leading Zatanna through a maze of magical obstacles and curses that threaten her life and mind. Is this me that's staticking out?
I don't hear it.
Okay. So what we have here, the covers, this is going to be the main one by Jamal Campbell. This one is a variant
That's
by him as well. This variant I really like. It's by Chris Bacalo and Jaime Mendoza.
Nice.
I just think that's really beautiful. This is by Sosa Maika.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
This is David Talaski. I thought that was really pretty. I like the
Nice.
color scheme on that one. And this is
white
a 1 in
shoes in
20.
that one.
This is one of the 1 in 25s by Sawi.
Wow.
And then here we have a little bit of the interior art. I broke some of these up. This is some of the concept art.
Oh, Blue Devil. Cool.
And look, there's the Tara right there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And, and there's some help by Ariana Mayhart and this one over there, I believe. So yeah, look for that coming out on February 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Use Zatanna.
Yeah.
And back over to you, Drew.
Oh boy. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. Okay.
Choo-choo.
No. Yeah. Yes. Thunderbolts. So, continuing more things happening under Doom. We're going to have Thunderbolts versus Thunderbolts, aka Thunderbolts Doomstrike. So this is a One World Under Doom tie-in where now Doctor Doom, aka Sorcerer Supreme Doom or Doom Supreme, whatever, will be assembling a new and classic iteration of Thunderbolts to fight the current Thunderbolts. So this is a 5-issue limited series written by Hive Mind's Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzig, and drawn by Tommaso Bianchi, who last did Giant Size Silver Surfer.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you've been reading Kelly and Lanzig's Thunderbolt stuff, you know that Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, now going to, I believe, as a code name, the Revolution, assembled a team of Black Ops heavy hitters to pursue the world's most dangerous individuals, which inadvertently added to Doctor Doom's power grab. So now, Bucky, being the ever guilty conscious one, is going to challenge Doom's authority to become a living symbol of resistance. So essentially, Doom is going to be recruiting a lot of the original members. So we're going to see Moonstone, Atlas, Fixer, and more all back. And they're definitely not happy with what Bucky has been doing in their name. So, so you got a book of Moonstone, Atlas, Fixer, Black Widow, Songbird, U.S. Agent, Sharon Carter, a bunch of wild cards, all coming together. It's going to be awesome. So, and right there, you got a gorgeous cover by Lionel Francis Yu. Mm-hmm. I mean, what more can you want? It's a 5-issue series. First issue drops February 19th. And just wow, man. That's going to be really awesome. So, yep.
All right. Next, we're going to talk about The Immortal Thor issue 19, which is going to be come out on the 15th of January. The deal here is that Thor is facing a terrible foe currently in Utgard, and he's gathering help from all of the stages of his past. Basically, in issue 17, which is out now, he's going to be going through and collecting all of his old friends and allies and stuff. And in issue 19, they're doing it, the entire issue is going to be single-page stories, every single one of them done by a different artist. The list of the artists is David Baldean, Jan Bazaldua, Juan Cabal, Cafu, Martin Coccolo, Karen Darbo, Juan Ferreira, Jorge Fornes, Lee Garbett, Gavin Guerdi, Dan Jurgens, Leonard Kirk, Gleb Milkanov, Phil Noto, and Humberto Ramos, Rod Reyes, Valerie Schitti, Steve Scrow, and Luciano Vecchito. And we do have a little bit of art here. These first two are by, on the left here we have Jan Baltazar I don't know why I can't pronounce that name. And then next to that is the art from Lee Garbett. Juan Ferreras, I wanted to break up a little bit because it was looking kind of hard to see. So here's his main pick, and then I did a little bit of some close-ups for some of that. So I just thought that was gorgeous and that these deserve to be shown a little bit better there.
Mm-hmm.
It was really pretty. I love the coloring and everything on that. And then we also have on the left Humberto Ramos, and on the right Rod Reyes. So that's what you're going to be seeing, and plus a lot more. And they're all going to be just little one-page, one-story. Obviously, this isn't lettered for us yet, so we get some sort of excitement out of it. But it's an interesting take on a comic, I guess. It's something I wouldn't have thought of doing. And instead of having to deal with getting 30 different covers, we get all the different pages. So
Right.
there you go.
Right. And when does that drop?
That drops on the 15th of January. It'll be issue 19.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What a celebration of the amount, and that's not even a fraction of all the people who ever worked on Thor, but those are some prominent artists who contributed to Asgard. So that's fantastic. What do you think, Coop?
I don't really care for Thor. Just
This
Coop's
is the immortal Thor.
yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
understand the significance of the character and all that, but like the Marvel version of Thor, I've never really liked that much. I like the Ultimate version. I like the movie version. So to me, I was thinking like, when was the last book that I thought was interesting? And I'm like, oh, what if Donald Duck had become Thor? I saw that one recently, and I think you guys may have covered that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not like super sold on it because I don't really love the character. But I mean, I love the concept of having different pages, one panel stories. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very
And I mean,
interesting.
those are great artists that you mentioned. Dan Jurgens, Phil Noto, Humberto Ramos, Rod Reyes. Yeah, those are great. I love Phil Noto's work.
Yeah, he's great. Does great covers.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries, Coop. It's all good. Trust me, there's some characters I too am like,
Yeah.
in my head. So all good,
All
my
right.
man. All right, what's next, Carrie? Ah, yes.
You're up.
These characters I like.
Thanks for clarifying, buddy. So everybody, come from February. A lot of things in February coming up. Weapon X-Men. So we have Joe Casey returning to the world of X-Men with acclaimed artist Chris Cross. We're going to have a new X catalog in February with a pun intended, an extra-sized first issue. So you're going to have a new team of mutant icons like Wolverine, Deadpool, and Cable taking no prisoners as they go gun blazing into an enemy stronghold that needs to be destroyed. And their first stop, of course, is Latveria. So after Doom, Weapon X-Men targets will be as wild as they are, including a new threat that'll force this group of heroes to lock in and unleash their deadly skills. So basically, what we're looking at is a high-stakes mutant rescue mission from Latveria, exposes a true enemy, possibly from within, that they find themselves forged in fire, and the official membership policy is no mercy. So accept no substitutes. This is the real deal. So yeah, so this is top tier marquee mutants taking on some of the most iconic villains in all of the modern Marvel universe. So you got Joe Casey doing it, you got Chris Cross doing the art, and then of course you got a beautiful cover by the always amazing Alex Ross.
Yeah, never seen him do Chamber before. That's kind of a new one,
right?
Chamber, and I'm pretty sure that's Warpath, right?
That is Warpath.
Because that's not Thunderbird. I know with Krakoa they're bringing everybody back and all that, but
that's Thunderbird. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think Warpath was different. No, that's Thunderbird.
Yeah, Warpath was James, and I don't know. It could be Thunderbird. I'm not sure, but we'll have to read and find out. That'll be the exciting part.
But it looks like I feel like Alex Ross could draw a rock, and it would be amazing. Like it would be the most beautiful. Do you agree with that, Carrie?
Yes, and then Peach Momoko could draw a cute one. Well,
It's
Scotty
true.
Young could draw an adorable one. Peach Momoko could draw a cutie one.
Yes. But yeah, like I said, that will be available February 19th. Very popular day. Be quite a Wednesday in February.
Yeah.
It will be. And something else coming out on January 15th. Were you done? Did I cut you off?
No, I'm good. And I'm very excited about this story. So let's go.
Okay, this looks so cool. Okay, like I initially got it and I was like, what? Why did he give me this? And then I read it and I was like, Oh, nice. Okay, so Dark Horse on January 15th is going to be releasing a new kaiju series, Behemoth, written by Ryan Engels, who wrote the 2018 movie Rampage, along with Grant Sputore, the director of an upcoming film set in the Godzilla times Kong universe, though we don't know what it's called yet. It's going to be a 4-issue stories that explores what it's like to have been eaten by a kaiju, and it follows the passengers in a subway car that has been completely swallowed whole by one of the giant monsters. You're supposed to prepare yourself for a claustrophobic battle for life, following the people trapped within the stomach of a kaiju trying to battle their way back out. I really don't know what else to say about this. It's just, it's kind of like, kaiju meets I can't even remember what it's called, the Bible story with the Jonah and the whale. Was it Jonah? Okay, yeah. Or Pinocchio, I guess. There was that too.
Monstro. Yep, he's a kaiju.
But instead of being a nice, friendly whale, this is an evil creature that I bet has something more nasty than just stomach acid in its belly.
Interesting concept. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because from what Grant Sputore said, he's been thinking about this since like 2022, when he just had that idea, and then that just kind of expanded, and it really just flipped, the usual, kaiju destroying a city, So
yeah,
it's like me, I'm just kind of extrapolating. I'm like, oh God, I kind of feel like it's like that claustrophobic moment in Peter Jackson's King Kong, when they're stuck down the ravine and they're just fighting off all those like prehistoric monstrous insects.
That's my favorite part of that movie, where Jack Black wins me over by literally having a boxing match with a giant centipede.
That's good for you, man. I just drew the line when I saw giant spiders with like pincers. I'm like, nope, nope, can't do it. No, I just can't. Running away. Nope. And I was like, I can't even run away. So I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna get eaten, just like the butcher, the guy. I'm like, I'm just gonna get eaten by. I'm just gonna get absorbed. I'm just gonna fight till I get absorbed or eaten by giant crickets.
Tosca's like, I'm gonna eat.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Squirrel kaiju coming this February. It'll be nuts.
God damn it! I was just. I hate you. All right, that looks
Salute,
awesome,
sir.
When is that's coming out in January, Carrie?
Yeah, that's going to be another January 15th release. So, yeah.
Cool. All
Order
right.
that. So, be ready.
Yes. All right. So I think there's one more story, and it's yeah. So
very cool.
We saw in 2020, Warner Brothers did a Batman statue in Burbank. Last year, Wonder Woman got her own 7.5-foot tall bronze statue in the Warner Brothers studio tour. Surprisingly, the next one wasn't Man of Steel, which, let's be real here, that's going to happen soon enough. John Stewart, Green Lantern John Stewart, receives his own statue. So, 7.5-foot tall bronze statue of John Stewart is at Empire Center's Hangar 28 in Burbank. So this is a product of the new partnership between Visit Burbank, DC, and Warner Brothers Discovery. So essentially, yeah, DC and statues, man. It's a thing now. So as you see there, the unveiling ceremony was attended by Burbank's Vice Mayor Nikki Perez, DC President, Publisher, and Creative Officer Jim Lee, DC writers Jeremy Adams, Morgan Hampton, and Tim Sheridan. They had a lot to say, especially about this. So that's a 600-pound statue that was inspired by DC artist Jamal Campbell, crafted by Burbank's American Fine Arts Foundry and Fabrication, and celebrating it, Visit Burbank commissioned an exclusive comic, Green Lantern John Stewart, Global Guardian, written by John Ridley and Charlotte Fullerton McDuffie. So most
nice.
Thank you. I know. The second I read that, I was like, oh, that's awesome. With art by Ammon K. Nehul-Pan, Chris Cross, and Jordi Tarragona, with a cover art by Jamal Campbell, which will be made available soon. So this statue, if you're watching and you're in the area, it can be viewed 24 hours a day at the Empire City Hangar 28 at 1775 North Victory Place in Burbank.
Beautiful.
So listen, man, any day we get a statue of a DC, a Marvel, any character, I'm like, that's a good day. Felt the same way when they did that RoboCop statue in Detroit. I'm like, about goddamn time.
Well, it's also not Hal Jordan, so that's like an extra little boost for it. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we got the Green Lantern Corps TV series, which is in they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
The Green Lantern books are always popping up and selling, and now I'm literally just looking at my collection of Green Lantern emotional core rings right now, and I'm just like, it's been a minute. I need to recharge. But yeah, that's pretty much everything on the news. So Carrie, do we want to call it a day? I feel like,
Well, if we would like to, I do have 4 Kickstarters to talk about and 3 to actually open. If you guys are up for it.
Carrie, we're gonna cross over 2 hours regardless, so have fun, you.
Okay. Shall I talk about the new ones first, or shall I open what I received first? What do you guys think?
You just got some Kickstarter books? I just got some myself.
Yeah.
What do you got? What kind of projects you've been supporting?
What I have in right now is Whispers in the Dark, Worthy Chaos Redemption, book 1 and 2 hardcover issues, 1 through 12, and the New Pain 2-in-1 Jump 1, 2, and the New Pain Handbook are what I got in for us to look at. And then I have a
New Pain. Is that part of the? You said Heart of Darkness, is it?
No, New Pain is the Keith Champagne.
Okay.
Yeah, it's let me see if I can. I want to go back to it's the Keith Champagne New Pain Productions, and it's him and Stank.
Sienkiewicz.
I'm trying to see who. Yeah, but I think he did all the drawing in this. Yeah, it was Keith Champagne, Carlos Reno, and Richard Stanke, and it comes after Jump. So what I got here, okay. So I already got the PDFs of these too, by the way. So that's not something, so I can read them that way. But here is Jump number 1.
Nice.
And yeah. And the pages therein are all nice and glossy. We got some nice artwork.
Cool. Looks like it's a prestige magazine format.
Mm-hmm.
Not regular comic size, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
So
beautiful.
Is that 48
and
pages, 52?
This is number 1. Let's see if I don't think it's going to give me page numbers. But I did get the thicker one is number 2, and I did get the Keith Champagne variant cover for that. And this there's a ridge here. This is very nice and thick. I don't want to look too much at it because I'm still trying to figure out the mystery involved.
Oh yeah.
I didn't finish it. I read the first one. I didn't get a chance to decide. And I also got the official handbook of the New Pain universe, as they're going to be having a number of different things coming out. So this it has all the different explanations of the different characters and such in it.
Cool.
And it's a smart way to get the exposition. Yeah.
And like Marshmallow is coming out in one of the ones that I'm going to be showing you guys, because he has another Kickstarter up already. So you can see that it's not just the Jump universe, but that is what I got from Keith and New Pain. and they do really cool stuff. The thing that I'm not just showing off Kickstarters, by the way, guys. We aren't doing them just to be like, hey, look what I got. But a lot of the Kickstarter programs out there, it's like, why should you get a Kickstarter? Because they offer a lot of bonus things that you can't just get otherwise in some cases. And it's helping fund something that might not be able to be produced if you don't help the artists with them. This next one is Whispers in the Dark. And it was written by Nick Helms, the creator of Vengeance and Eighth Day. And this is a horror story about some kids that are looking around at the mystery in their small town. This has already been funded. This one's a bigger box, so I need to dig in with my scissors here. Hopefully I'm not destroying anything, because I'm assuming people who package wisely. Yes, there's bubble wrap there. And yes, I fund a lot of Kickstarters, and sometimes they don't get all the way funded, so you don't use them. I do backer kits and stuff as well. One thing about Kickstarter, if it doesn't get funded, you don't get charged. So, if you like something, pledge what you do. This one, I got my cover choice for The Whispers in the Dark, and they go with Kablam Digital Printing.
Mhm.
The pages are not, it's going to be black and white, and it's got that old-timey paper going on with it. So, yeah, it looks really good. It's not too glossy on the black and white to give it that kind of dark feel to it that isn't too overly spooky. And with this one, I also grabbed, because I thought they looked really cool, the t-shirt.
Nice. Yeah.
That symbol is huge. Yeah.
Is that a flute?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
think it's supposed to be kind of a somebody led the children off, kind of Pied Piper sort of thing.
It's like a zombie Jethro Tull.
Oh.
Ian Anderson. Yeah. And then the last one, and she always wraps them like this, these are great, is one of Carissa Grant's. This is the Worthy Chaos Redemption hardcover, books 1 and 2. But Carissa always throws in so much stuff with all of the Worthy Chaos projects that you can't help but just get extras. You'll get stickers, you'll get magnets. There's all sorts of add-ons that you can buy, or things that just show up because she's always overfunded, like generally within the first day anymore. And she spends a lot of times communicating with her fans and asking, do you like this better or this better? Which one of these would you be interested in? And offering to, like, if you can't get this now, I can hold it and, get you one at a later time. She's wonderful that way. So we're going to look here real quick. First off, I ordered the book. So I have hard copies, both things. Oh, and here is a metal Anubis keychain that came with that. But she always throws in the extra. Oh, I'm losing extras. And a nice sticker of Sarah and Draven showed up with it, as well as, I'm not going to open up the book. There might be a bookmark or something in here, but I don't want to get to digging this around the way
It
it's
looks really
packaged
nice
up.
hardcover.
Yeah.
That's
her.
Wow, good for her. That's awesome.
Yeah. I have both hardcovers now, and the inside is gorgeous, really nice glossy pages. And the super fun thing that Carissa does is plushies. And I already do have a plushie Anubis.
Mhm.
But when you have a plushie Anubis, he gets lonely.
I
So, that poor Anubis. And my scissors are stuck on my fingers.
Oh, gee.
Um,
Oh, no, she used the left-handed ones.
Oh, no.
But you have to get your plushie Bastet.
I knew. I was gonna say
Oh,
it's gonna,
wow.
Yes.
Great job
So
on that.
Yeah, and just gorgeous. The sword she'll be able to hold. I'm going to be able to have her hold a lightsaber, so I can have her and the other be Sith Lords together. She also has plushy hellhounds, dead or zombie mermaids, various birds. There's going to be a demon crow coming up, but all sorts of stuff. This is a necklace that I've gotten from her. There are multiple different necklaces, coins, pendants, keychain stickers, magnets, all sorts of stuff. And as she crosses stretch goals, more things just get thrown in, like the keychains and such. So keep an eye out for the Worthy Chaos stuff. She doesn't have anything coming out until January
Okay.
at this point, but we'll make sure to put her up when she has stuff. Justin, did you have anything you wanted to show real quick?
Nothing
Or
really to show. I was just going to mention about the TMNT Naruto crossover. That was about it.
Go for your thing.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I just put an article for a review for the TMNT Naruto crossover, which comes out this Wednesday. You can check the article out on splashpagescomicbookclub.com, where you'll see most of the Ninja Turtles books will be up there and reviewed on a monthly basis, as well as several different articles that we're putting out there. So check it out. See what you think. I was not aware that you were both such Naruto fans, so I'm very curious what you think if I've nailed it, because I'm not so versed in Naruto. So
Oh, Carrie will let you know.
But yeah, I will definitely let you know. So I'm going to try to get this up. Last time I did this kind of as a mess. I wasn't doing too hot with getting everything discussed or bullet pointed out, right? So just going to give you guys 4 Kickstarters to check out. I will be putting quick links to them on our on our YouTube page after this short show is done. But this is what I want you guys to check out for this week.
punch.
Punch. Okay, this is another New Pain comic, Keith Champagne. It is Pubescent Undercover Neurodivergent Cryptid Hunters.
Okay.
AKA Punch. Yeah. So this is by Keith Champagne and Rich Stonke. The fun things on this is you can get your copy signed and remarked by either Keith or Rich in the add-on stage. You can also get, as you can see here, variant cover art as well as splash pages and the original art. And this is very cool. You can get your own one-on-one variant cover for $800, but they will create you your own variant cover and they will give you 25 printed copies of it. You'll also get the PDF. But there were some early bird specials with this. You can get some variant Keith Champagne art. But yeah, so a lot of the things that they like to do is throw in little things in their stretch goals. They'll add more stuff to the comic so that instead of giving little extra side-ons, you get extra pages, extra panels and stuff like that. I, of course, did get the remarked and stuff going, but I'm not, throwing away $800 because that's 2 months rent.
Right.
But that's what we have going there. Next one I want to show. Oh, and that does finish, by the way, on the 25th. So get in there and get it if you want to go. Also ending this one on the 27th. We looked at it before. Since it's getting close to the end, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm never going to be a Leo. I just never will be. I'm not going to get this down right. But Cullen Bunn's Triple Threat of Terror includes Death Duel with the Chainsaw Witches, which is a heavy metal horror with artist Diogo Carvalho. Long Pig and Azrael, which is Emmanuel Casellos as an artist. Paul Little on colors, Shannon Portraz on letters, and it's a road trip buddy adventure with a hungry monster. And The New Window, illustrated by Louis Garwin, Paul Little on colors, Shannon Potraz on letters. And this is about a family moves into a new house and has a window that looks out into an insidious alien world full of monsters. Special things that you can get with this comic include the blood-soaked bundle, where he will be hand bloodying each copy of it before he sends it out with you. And for $100, you can get a Zoom chat with Cullen Bunn. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, so he'll just sit down, hang out, and chat you up about it. So that was something I thought was rather cool about that one. Again, I'll get the links up at the end of the show. This third one is just for people who, I got to go way up here. Basically, if people remember way back in the day, before the Golden Age, they had the, but I'm losing my words on it.
Mm-hmm.
They
So I'm guessing
yes.
Comics Authority code.
Yes, these are a bunch of, what they've done here is put together a collection, and they're just, this has been going up all day as I'm watching it. But they put together a collection of banned and mostly destroyed horror comics that got thrown out after the code went into effect. So the main group you get is the way they did this is great, and I am going to have to say that I'm going to go through a bit and show you the different tiers, because they took the time to make some really cool stuff. You get the Frightening 15, and these include the basic ones that come out. But as they go through, you can get the Key Issue collection. You can get fluorescent variants off of it. You can get Silver Spectre Voil variants. You can get Blood Moon Voil variants. And then when you get going up, you can get limited edition box sets. There's only 300 of those available. They keep getting larger and larger as we go on, and it kills me some of the ones that have been. This one got the $975 limited edition, got sold out. It had 70 issues in it. And that you can still get the $1,800 thing, but they gave rewards for the first 48 hours. They're stretch goals. What they have already gotten funded so far is they're bringing the pre-code horror comics back from the dead. They're adding a trading card. They're giving all of the boxes a deluxe matte finish. They're putting out another trading card. All of the boxes are embossed. Another trading card. All of the boxes are also debossed. They're up to another trading card, and I can guarantee they're going to make the next one, which is going to be the boxes foil stamped. And that is going to be coming out on the 27th. Or wrapping up on the 27th. It is so ridiculously overfunded. It's just astounding. But if you want to get in and get all of these extras, it is a great one to jump in on. You're going to get a hold of a lot of stuff that was unable to be found for a long time, and now you can hop in, grab it, get some stuff, get one physical thing, and you're going to get all of these stretch goal things going with you too. If you're getting the ones with that particular stretch goal in mind. And the last thing I want to show you guys is this one is brand new. It has 23 days to go. That means it's getting wrapped up on December 12th. They've hugely already overfunded it. This is the Comic Book Pro Boot Camp. It's a workbook series designed to give aspiring creators hands-on exercises in creation by some of the top minds in the industry. You're going to be getting all of these different books. You get, obviously, one on pencils, one on inks, one on colors, and one on writing. The different instructors that we're going to have are Ryan Benjamin, Will Porticho, Marv Wolfman, Sandra Hope, Alex Sinclair, Tony Washington, Fabian Nichizia, Erica Schultz, Kevin Grivu, Matt Banning, David F. Walker, Carlos Danda, Richard Friend, Dexter Vines, with a foreword by Frank Miller and J. Scott Campbell. And the various I'm going to go. These are like how to write the scripts, how to do the pencils, how to do the inking, how to do colors. You can get them all for in soft covers or hard covers. This is the really interesting thing. You can get a 90-minute one-on-one class that will go via Zoom, I believe it is, or some sort of other video conference, with the bootcamp founder, Ryan Benjamin. And that also includes all of the books come with it for $500. And it also includes this little pro art set, which is kind of odd. It has a portfolio, 2 art boards, a pencil case, 2 professional pencils, 1 sharpener, 1 eraser, and then a lanyard and a hand fan. Not really sure.
You probably got a deal on the hand fans. So,
Yeah, I don't know what you hand fan the pencils with, but they also, you're going to have page proofs you can check out to work with things. So it's just, if you're somebody who is really looking into getting into comics, this is going to be one for you to check out. You know, you can get
yeah, I thought that
the
was
PDF
Kevin
version if
Grebo.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be gorgeous. So that you have until the 12th of December to get in on this one.
Cool.
So
Nice.
yeah. So hop on in. Like I said, they're way booked already. So anything that they start coming out with is going to be, as far as like stretch goals and things, you're automatically going to be getting all of that because they've crossed pretty much every benchmark that they could be asking for based on where their starting point is to where they are now. And that is our first kind of attempted episode at the Kickstarter.
Nice.
Smoothing out a little bit better.
Good stuff
segment.
to put some thought behind if you're gonna, donate or not. I've done like 2 or 3 this year, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'll get there.
it's the thing that I feel bad about on Kickstarter is there are some it's riskier for the creators than it is for the purchasers, because like we're just like, shut up, take my money, have it. But there are people who will go in and pledge a huge amount on somebody's Kickstarter to bump it over completion, and then they'll withdraw their pledge like an hour before it closes or just after it closes. And then the creator is left there like, well, I made these agreements, I have to pay for everything. And they got a bunch of their money taken from them. So that's the only thing I feel bad for the creators when they have something like that happen. Because I've known a number of creators that have had that happen. But as far as like being a pledger on Kickstarter, I have never had a problem with something coming through. It might be a little late, but other than that, I've always had stuff come through.
Okay. But
So,
all right. I think that's pretty much. So do you want to just wrap us up, Carrie?
Sure. I'm Carrie. You can find me there. I write things. I do other shows. I have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm sick right now. So go ahead and find these other folks. Coop, where can we find
some
you?
slack. She's sick. You can check me out on Epic Tales from the Sewers, a TMNT podcast where we read through the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, including an audiobook style reading of The Last Ronin. Check that out. Otherwise, we have some great guests. Drew has been a co-host with me. When we had Pharaoh Pay on, we were talking about Stranger Things, so you can check that out. Or my other show, Comics Paradox, with the man Leo Pond and Brandon Powers, and also The Dork Knight. So, and I'm also one of the rotating hosts of Retro Redoctopus. So you can check us out, all these dorkening shows.
All right.
Cool. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We are thoroughly glad you're there. You can find me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, GhostBushman1984. I also am on Blue Sky if you want to look me up there. I'm just very busy, just keeping busy. We've got a lot we're doing on. We got a lot we're working on. If you hit me up, I promise you I'll get back to you at least within this millennium, maybe decade. And also, if you like what you saw here, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Trying to keep building that up so every follower helps. And if you like what you saw here, please stay tuned for next week when we have artist extraordinaire Valentine Delandro on. we're going to be talking with him about a couple of projects that he's worked on in the past, and maybe it's something he's working on soon. But yeah, it's going to be great, and we're super excited as we get closer and closer to our end of the year. Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise,
And with that, thank you, everybody, and have a good night.